Jasper Johns was born in Georgia and grew up in South Carolina. He left the South when he was 19 to move to the modern art hub of New York City. There he met fellow artist Robert Rauschenberg, the musician John Cage, and dancer and choreographer Merce Cunningham. He took subjects from the normal realm, changing little things about them to make them more interesting. His paintings weren't exactly abstract. He usually represented objects directly, but he seemed to place style rather than the objects as the subject of his works. His works have some elements of Duchamp's ready-mades. Although he creates the paintings or objects himself, he uses pre-existing symbols or images as the foundation for his ideas. He was also a skilled printmaker. He used lithography to create print versions of the flags, maps, and targets that filled his paintings. He was also the first artist in ULAE, Universal Limited Art Editions, to use a hand-fed offset lithographic press, which he used to design the artwork Decoy before he drew or painted it.
Today we are looking at Jasper Johns' map from 1961, and Jasper Johns himself said the idea of knowing an image rather than just seeing it out of the corner of your eye was the most important thing. And in this portrait, the map was looked at but not examined per se. You see all of the states in their different colors, highlighted the beauty of the already existing map that many people look at in a more analytical way. It invites close inspection because its content is both familiar and imaginary, and he applied the paint quite energetic manner. And now we move on to Jasper Johns' 0 through 9 number period. And Jasper Johns was painting numbers from 1951 to the late 60s, and his first work with a row of numbers was called Construction with Toy Piano, where in his collage with so many different things he put a row of 0 through 9 at the bottom of the portrait. And in his 1959 portrait, the numbers are in just two lines, and they're just in order, and he was studying the form. In his 1961 portrait of 0 through 9, the numbers are superimposed onto the canvas. The numbers were actually one of his most important subjects. He enjoyed the process of superimposition because he was one of the first artists that used that superimposition as his key focus, and he was one of the best printmakers of the time, so it was very important for him. Some numbers picture what? Some of the other portraits of the numbers had the numbers in white and grisaille, and he had both prints and paintings, so he liked to do mixed media, and his printmaking was then, it's used as a basis for artists of the future in this superimposition.
Sister Christian, oh, the time has come, and you know that you're the only one to say, okay. Where you going, what you looking for? You know those boys don't walk no more.
In this painting, Jasper Johns takes the American flag, a patriotic image, and makes it a compositional object for his own experimentation.
Yeah, this is a real hallmark of his work. He loved taking common, emotionally charged objects and stripping away that traditional meaning, creating work that falls somewhere between abstraction and objective representation. This allows him to present them in any context he wants and experiment with visual effects.
He accomplishes that by making the flags flat and rigid. He also defines the rules of classical perspective, showing each flag as projecting outward rather than receding into the distance.
He also uses an expressionistic brushstroke, giving an artistic quality to the flag. The composition creates a target-like effect, with the extended borders of each flag acting as the outer rings, and the central flag as the bullseye.
Actually, Jasper Johns himself commented on the ideas behind this painting, saying that the American flag was seen and not looked at, not examined. Perhaps this painting was an attempt to challenge the viewer to do just that, and to look deeper into the image and to truly examine it. Hi, we're in the private collection of Mr. and Mrs. Leo Castelli. We're looking at the Target with plaster casts. Such a marvel of postmodern art.
Yes, Jasper Johns was really an architect, so to say, of this type of art.
The Target really pushes the limits of what can be considered art. You know, in another context, the Target would simply be that, a target.
The genius of this work is that it takes this everyday object and turns it into so much more. In this version of the target, the concentric circles lead the viewer's eye straight to the center. Here, Jasper Johns is unlocking the artistic principle of movement that has always been held in this form, but is not usually appreciated.
And if you look at the upper portion of the work, we have these plaster casts of parts of the body represented in different colors. They are actually parodying the hierarchical manner of abstract expressionism.
This contrasts with the target, which could symbolize hierarchy.
The target really does make us ask ourselves, is this a target or just a painting of a target? What was Jasper Johns' real purpose in painting this? Are the Castellis waking up? No, seriously, we should probably leave their private home collection.